Here I'm going to show you how to create this vase in Procreate in just a few easy steps. First, add one of the vase stamps to your canvas, and you're going to add a new layer, but you're going to move it below. Then I'm going to start adding the leaves coming out of the vase. I'm going to use different colors of green or different shades of green, light and dark. I might add a couple more layers to it so I can maybe have the darker leaves coming out from behind. And on a new layer, I'm going to start adding my stems. So I'm using the monoline brush that comes with the Spring set. And you're going to see me just kind of very randomly draw in stems going into the vase. Now we just have to make that vase resemble glass. So I'm actually going to move that leaves layer to the very top. I'm going to keep my stems as the bottom one. And what we're going to do is kind of like make a gray shadow on the inside of the vase. So to do that, we are going to tap on that layer, hit reference. We're going to grab the color white and add a new layer below it. And we're going to just drop in our layer. And now we're actually going to move that white layer to the very bottom. And I actually did the top of the vase as well. Now on that white layer we just added, we're going to use the monoline brush and the color black, and we're just going to outline the vase. It does not have to be perfect, but you do want to try to keep it rather thin. Next, you want to go up to the adjustments menu, add a Gaussian blur. And you can see on the bottom left corner, I'm not so thrilled on how much of that shadow is. So I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to erase some of it and redo it. Next, I'm going to bring down the opacity just a little bit, and then I'm going to do the same on the very top of the vase in that white little section. I'm going to add my black outline, add a blur, and bring down the opacity. The last step is to change that black outline of the vase to white. I'm just going to tap on that layer, hit invert, and you have a glass vase. Last minute, I decided to add a little bit more texture, so I actually grouped all the layers, duplicated the layer, and you can see that I saved the one just as the backup. I merged all the layers together, added a new layer above it, changed it to a clippy mask, and I grabbed the texture overlay brush one with white, and I'm going to color right over it. Do not worry, trust the process. I'm going to go open the layers menu, and I'm going to change your layer setting. I went through all of the settings. Sometimes if I don't use white and I use different color, I like to experiment with the settings, but I chose overlay, and I did bring down the opacity. I decided I wanted a blue background right behind the vase, and so I added a new layer below everything. I chose my selection tool rectangle on color fill and drew a quick rectangle. It's my favorite way to do it. And I'm just centering it right now. I'm going to duplicate that layer, change the bottom layer to black. I'm going to add a Gaussian blur, bring down the opacity just to give a little bit of a shadow effect. And I decided that that background is a little bit too smooth for me. So I added a clipping mask on top of it, changed the layer setting to overlay, and with the color white, I grabbed that same texture brush we used before and I colored right over it. And I brought down the opacity. I think I went down to maybe 20%, just to add a little bit of texture, but not be so overpowering. And you're done. Very easy, very simple. If you give this tutorial a try, I would love to see it. You can reach out to me on Instagram and tag me at My Fancy Design Shop, and keep an eye out for more tutorials.